Hello and welcome back to Bike Matters. Today we're looking at this, it's the Sinnis Hoodlum. Onto the styling of the Hoodlum, and it just looks great. The one we have is the graphite and black, which all of us here at BikeMatters HQ just absolutely love. It just looks so mean and respectable for a 125cc motorcycle. Now at the front, we have this single halogen front light, which looks great. We also have metal mudguards. How awesome is that on a 125? At the front here, LED indicators, and on the rear we have this awesome LED rear light as well. So if you follow me down here, we have this Toro exhaust, which not only looks awesome, but it sounds it as well. Now, it is worth noting that during our test, we don't have a baffle in there, so it sounds extra loud. But all in all, I think you'd agree, the Hoodlum really looks a beast. So as you expect with a cruiser style bike like the Hoodlum, the seat height is nice and accessible. It's at 710mm high, so even a short person like myself has no problem at all. Now when it comes to custom and cruiser style bikes like the Hoodlum, you expect it to be slightly weightier, and it is slightly weightier than your normal 125cc motorcycle, but it still only weighs in at 135 kilograms. So out on the road and manual handling, it's really not a problem at all. Now the Hoodlum has quite a sizable fuel tank in it. It can store 13.5 litres of petrol. Now we don't actually know the miles per gallon on this, but if you go with an average of about 80 miles per gallon or higher, you'll know you're going to be going decent mileage between filling up. Now the dash on the Hoodlum is split. At the very top, we have an analog speedometer. Underneath that is a digital aspect though, and that's where you have a fuel gauge and also the trip. Below that, we also have a cool little gear indicator. So it tells you when you're in neutral, but then also tells you when you change gear, what gear you're in, which is really handy out on the road. On to brakes, and at the front here, on the Hoodlum, we have a 217mm disc. At the rear, we have a 240mm disc. Now it does use combined braking system as well to meet good old Euro 4 regulations. Onto suspension, and at the front, we have telescopic forks. On the rear, we have the awesome bronze looking twin adjustable coil springs. That just with this graphite and black look, with those bronze element, just look fantastic. Now the Hoodlum uses a ZS 125cc engine. Now it's a single cylinder 2-valve motor running on good old 4-stroke. It produces 11.2 brake horsepower. So not top of the horsepower limit for 125, but still rather respectable. So how much does a Sinnis Hoodlum cost? Well, it might just surprise you. It comes in at just £2,199. So I think you agree, you're getting quite a lot for your money. So that's enough talking about the Hoodlum in the studio. I think it's time to take this little beast out on the road. So here we go on the Sinnis Hoodlum 125cc cruiser style motorcycle. And first things first, it's beautiful, isn't it? As a 125cc cruiser goes, this thing is stunning. Now also the one we've got, as I mentioned in the studio, this is black and graphite, which is just awesome. Everything about it works pretty damn well. Now, if you haven't been on a cruiser or custom style motorcycle before, when you sit on it, you just feel like a total and utter badass. So I'm going along here and I feel great. It's a real nice seat position, arms are nice and comfortable, nice and relaxed, got those big foot plates, which to be honest when I first got on the bike I wasn't 100% on, but I'm starting to enjoy them more and more. So yeah, it looks great, it feels comfortable. So initially it's onto a winner. Now that seat looks great as well. It's relatively firm, not uncomfortable but firm. Again, it's just the nature of having a cruiser style bike. Now we're going along a nice country lane here and I'm feeling that suspension. So the front is pretty good and dandy. You feel the odd little bump. For me it's firm on the rear suspension, so on the seat I feel it a bit more, but it's not bad by any means. But it's just the nature of a cruiser style bike, isn't it? It's just going to be a bit firmer, but it does quite a good job on the normal roads, I have to say. On to brakes. We've also got hydraulic discs at front and rear, and I tend to be a person who favours the back brake a bit more, and the back brake is good. It's probably not as sharp as I kind of tend to like, but the front brake is amazing, so that really does bring you to a halt well. So I do find myself on this one not relying so much on the back brake and using the front brake more. But that's just each rider to their own, isn't it? Most people, I dare say, are more kind of front breakers than myself. Now that motor is 11.2 horsepower, and although that might not seem great when you can go up to about 15 brake horsepower on a legal 125cc motorcycle, it's more than adequate, to be fair, and it's faster than I thought it was going to be. I've got this up to around 70, showing on the analog dash there, and I dare say you'll be able to get probably to 75 if you was on a downward slope or a long enough road. So yeah, it's pretty respectable. It gets up to 45, 50 really nicely. I think you keep up with most traffic up to those kind of speeds. It's only really when you're going beyond 50 that it's a bit slower. But as I say, it gets up to 60, 65, 70 pretty okay. Now, with this cruiser style and those wide handlebars, the mirrors are in a really wide position too, and that works perfectly well. It gives you terrific vision of what's going on behind you. Really nice and wide. I'm not fighting to get my shoulders or my body out of the way. Nice and wide. Clearly see what's going on behind me from both mirrors. So that has a massive plus of having a cruiser style bike like this Sinnis Hoodlum. So yeah, as you can see, just to reiterate, that suspension is, you know, you can feel the bumps, but it's not uncomfortable. Now what you might hear in the background is that loud Tour exhaust. Now that Tour exhaust, as I say, doesn't come as standard, and ours doesn't have a baffling, so it is ridiculously loud at the moment. But I dare say Mr. Alex will be hearing that more than me at the moment, well hopefully so. But it does accompany this bike beautifully. Really gives it that big bike sound. Now you do get onto some 125s and you think, well, this feels a bit small, it feels a bit reedy. You don't feel it on this bike. That big fuel tank there and the general feeling and the wide nature of it makes you feel like you're on a much bigger bike. Especially, like I say, that Tour exhaust accompanying this and giving out those loud tones. It does have that big bike feel to it. You don't feel like you're on a reedy 125. You feel you're on quite a substantial 125, which is really nice. And I've got a lot of confidence in those tyres too. Now you probably won't see too well, but behind that GoPro mount is an indicator to tell you what gear you're in, which me and Alex love on 125s. We really love it. So that's nice to see on the Hoodlum. Now the dash is split between analog and digital. So the analog bit is the speedometer, and then the digital bit, which you won't see at the moment, is the fuel gauge and the trip. So that's pretty cool. No rev meter there, but hey, you can live with that, because just listen to it and change gear accordingly, isn't it? Now, if you're looking to get a 125cc cruiser or custom style bike, well, I hope you are if you're watching this video anyway, then I think the Sinnis Hoodlum really puts itself out there as a contender, one to really think about looking at or potentially getting, because it packs the looks, the ride, does everything, you know, for that 2,200 quid price bracket, which I think is great. It really looks the part, and it's a type of 125 you'll park up and you'll be so proud to come back to it, because it just looks amazing and people will look at it. Now, as I'm going along, it's worth a big shout out to Lexham Insurance, who power BikeMatters. So if you're looking for insurance in UK on a motorcycle such as the Hoodlum, or any other motorcycle in fact, or moped or scooter, make sure to head on over to lexhaminsurance.co.uk. They are a specialist motorbike insurance broker, so please head on over to that website and get yourself a quote, and hopefully they get yourself a really good deal. Born to be wild. Bow, 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 bow. You can really get this to work well. Stretch out fourth gear is a definite. It's nice and light and agile, as I had it in the wrong gear. Obviously, when you're looking at getting a cruiser, you expect it to be a little bit slower on the bends and a little bit heavier. But this still is relatively light. I think it's 149 kilograms. The exact figure will appear on screen now. And it's actually really quite light still. So on bends and just riding in general, it's an absolute doddle to ride. It's quite a laugh, really. You have to adapt to that slightly different seating position, but that doesn't take much time at all. Go on, Hoodlum! F***ing have it! That's respectable for 11.2 horsepower 125. Look at that. Nicely done, Hoodlum. Nicely done. So it's got a really good feeling about this 4125. It doesn't feel reedy. It doesn't feel that small. Nice big wide tank there. Generally the stance on it is nice and comfortable and wide too. But it's lovely and light and agile still. So you can pull it into bends with a lot of confidence. So a bit of back brake, quite subtle back brake to be honest. It's kind of like hit and miss at times. Not badly, but kind of like you either really slightly come to a halt, it's like, oh, there you go, there's a back brake. I tend to be a much more of a back brake kind of person, a rider. The front brake though is amazing. It's a big 270mm front disc, and that really does bring you to a quick halt. So that's worth mentioning. Here we go, tunnel test time, people. You ready? I hope I do a decent job. Tunnel test time. Whoa! What an absolute beast. So there we go, people. That brings us to an end. Test riding the Sinnis Hoodlum. I really hope you've enjoyed my review. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Really, really appreciate it. If you've got any questions, please make sure to put them in the comments below. And if you're not already subscribed to the BikeMatters YouTube channel, please hit that red subscribe button while you're there. Right beside it is that little bell icon. Hit it and then you'll be notified by YouTube of when a new video is released by us. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.